Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? I just started the vlog like a minute ago, and then I started sneezing like crazy, and I was like, I'm just gonna start the vlog over. Because I started sneezing right at the beginning of the vlog. So anyway, okay, let's get into today's vlog. And first of all, I want to talk about what happened with yesterday's vlog, because I had so many people that were tweeting me, and they're like, is there no vlog? Is there no vlog? Hopefully there will always be a vlog, even if it is super late and it's me saying, hey, there is only 2 minutes of a vlog because I fell asleep and forgot to vlog last night or something like that. But I haven't missed a day yet, and I'm hoping not to miss a day. There was that one day, I think, that I fell asleep, and I did like a 10 or 12 minute vlog. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I think I like finished it in the bathroom or something, was sitting like up against the kitchen or the bathroom sink, and I was like, okay, I fell asleep, so this is the vlog. I was really disappointed in myself, if you guys remember that. So there will always be a vlog, hopefully. Now, let me tell you what happened, okay? Today has not been my greatest day of uploads. And it's just kind of what goes along with the territory of making YouTube videos on a regular basis or daily basis. So typically what happens is when I get done vlogging, I go home and I start rendering my video. And what that means is, like, I take the memory card out of my camera and then I upload it to the computer. And so, like, let's say if there's, like, you know, when the camera stops or whatever, there's like 5 pieces of it together. I like splice those together into one video, and then I start rendering it as one video, if that makes sense. Okay, so then that's what puts these different pieces together that I film throughout the day or at night or whatever. It makes it into one piece. So I start rendering that. That usually takes anywhere between a half an hour and an hour, depending on the length of the video. So sometimes I go just to bed and I just let that happen while I'm asleep. Other times I stay up and I watch a little bit of a documentary. Like, I've been staying up and watching some of that Madeleine McCann documentary. Or I'll sit there and I'll listen to like a little bit of my audiobook, but not very often. Usually I watch like a documentary or something. If I do that, and by the time that I'm getting ready to go to bed, the video is rendered, then I start uploading it onto YouTube. And that usually takes anywhere from, for the vlog, like a regular video of mine that's like 20 minutes can take anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes, depending, like our internet's pretty fast, depending on the time. If it's a shorter video, like my other channels sometimes are, like I did a booktube video today, and I think it was like 7 minutes, and it was like 7 or 8 minutes to upload. It was really short to upload. And it just depends, and it also depends on the internet speed, and if there's something going, you know, everybody knows about all that. So anyway, so typically, if I've watched a little bit of like a documentary or something, I start uploading the vlog at night, so that when I get up the next day, the vlog is already uploaded on YouTube, and then I just have to put all this stuff in the description box, copy it, paste it, and then it's ready to go, which is why I've been like uploading my vlogs a lot earlier recently. Well, the last 2 nights, I've come home and I've just been like wanting to get into bed, so I haven't done it. I've just like taken my battery out of my camera and started charging it, and then leaving my camera right there so that I can just like do it the next day. Well, today I got up and I started rendering the video, and I had to leave. I had some errands that I had to run that like I had to deal with right then. So I left and I started rendering the video, just thinking that it's going to take like no longer than an hour or an hour and a half to upload when I got home, right? Even though I was not going to get home until like after 4, which I didn't end up getting home till like after 5. So I think it was around 5-ish that I got home. So I leave and I'm rendering the video, and the video's fine and all that kind of stuff. And I come home and I start uploading it, and I start making my other videos. Well, what I noticed when I go to start uploading my video that I made for my Peter Monn channel, which was about Shane Dawson and James Charles, what I noticed was that it like had gone 20%, and then it had like stopped, and it said it was going to take like 2 hours and something. which typically whenever it says it's gonna like take between 2 and 3 hours, I just stop it and start re-uploading it again. Or, you know, I re-upload it on a different server or something like that, right? So I was like, what is going on? So I left that on there, rendered that video, made my other 2 videos that I had to make, because my review video I had made yesterday and it got too late and I didn't post it, so I posted that already today. And then by the time that my other 2 videos were done and I was rendering them and ready to upload the Shane Dawson video, I noticed that it was like, had just moved like 1%. Well, it had been like a half an hour. So I was like, what is going on? So I had to upload the other videos on another channel. So I uploaded the Shane Dawson video on another, not another channel, on another server. And it got up there really quick. It took like a half an hour. So I was like, well, it's not our internet, so it must be the server. Server must be down or something. So I got that up, and then I got, and I was gonna like, I had to go to the grocery store to get some food. And so I was like, well, when I come back, it should be uploaded, and then I'll watch it, and then I'll start uploading the other videos. So I go to the grocery store, take my sweet time, come home thinking it's just gonna be ready to go, right? So I watched the Shane Dawson and James Charles video back. It's now at this point like 7:45, okay? So I watched the videos back, or what time it was, I don't know. It was late, 7:30, somewhere between like 7:30 and 8. So I watched the videos back, or the video back, and at the beginning when I talked about, like I had included picture clips for the James Charles part, because I remembered that. But when I got to the Shane Dawson part at the beginning of the video, I said something about like, here's a picture that he posted, here's a picture of this, and of the ring, and I like didn't include the pictures. I was like, damn it. So I went in, I re-edited the video so that the pictures were in there, re-rendered the video, and had to re-upload the video. So that video didn't even get up. I don't know, Alex got off work, he got home around 9-ish, and we were watching Vanderpump Rules, and I was eating, and by that point, I was like, this is just ridiculous. And so I think that video got done at like 9 o'clock. Well, I just assumed the vlog would be done by then. So I looked at Alex and I go, I don't know what to do. And this was like probably, well, I got done eating and I just let the vlog sit there, because I figured by the time that I like am done eating, it's got to be done. Oh, it was stuck at 80, it was at 84%. Okay. So I was like, well, it's at 84%. And even though it said it had like 52 minutes left still, which all day the times on it were so crazy. I know nobody cares about any of this kind of stuff, but I just thought to somebody out there it might be interesting. So anyway, it's now been uploading for hours, okay? Like literally hours. And like this never happens unless I'm like in a hotel room and the Wi-Fi is horrible. It like never happens. But now I know some tricks on how to get around that. So I'm like getting speed to like be better on, you know, your computer and stuff like that, because other people have told me what they do when they're on vacation. So anyway, which is probably why I won't be uploading as much on all 5 of my channels while I'm gone, because there's just no way, unless I pre-film all of those videos, which I can tell you a week out is not going to happen. There's no way that I can just like upload all of those videos on 5 different channels each day, or I would never be like on my vacation. I would just be like in a hotel room, and I'm not going to do that because the Wi-Fi always sucks in hotel rooms. So anyway, or typically always does. So at that point I sat down and I was like wanting to lay down for a little bit, and I like opened up the other server and I started uploading the vlog on the other server as well. Well, it said it was going to take like an hour. Now that's typical for a vlog, right? It said it like an hour and 5 minutes. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did it, and I kept on eating, and I came back and it said like 40 minutes, and I was really tired, and Alex was like getting ready to like get into bed and watch some TV at that point, and I wanted to lay in bed with him, and so I did, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to lay down for a little bit with you, and I said then I'm going to get up and I'm going to like make sure my vlog is posted, because I wanted it posted before midnight, obviously. And he was like, okay. He was like, how much longer do you have? And I was like, 40 minutes or something. He was like, okay. So anyway, well, I fell asleep, and then he went to bed, And I woke up, and thus it was like 2:30 in the morning, and my vlog was still not up. I cannot believe I've talked about this for 10 minutes, but this is my life. So the vlog was finally done. The other one is still, it was still at 84%, so I don't know what happened. At one point, Alex was like, just stop it and restart it. And I was like, well, I'm afraid that I'll lose all of that I have. But the upload got screwed up somehow. I don't know how. So anyway, but I finally did get the vlog up. The vlog is up, and I'm really sorry that it took me that long to get up yesterday. Sometimes it's just like stuff like that is out of my control. I just really don't have a lot of control with how, you know, like when or if it gets uploaded. Well, not if, but when. But I haven't had that problem in a really, really long time. So, yeah, problems of a YouTuber, right? Today was a good day. It was kind of chilly outside, though, today. It was interesting because, like, right now it says it's 43 degrees, and it was, like, 44 degrees today. And I stepped outside tonight to come vlog, and I was like, it feels pretty warm outside. Like, it's nice outside. I mean, not, like, warm like 80, but it doesn't feel like cold like it did today, but it's also not windy, and today it was windy. So, yeah. That was my exciting day. I went and got my coffee. I had my cup over here, which I rinsed out today. And then I had some stuff I had to do throughout the day. Then I came back and filmed those videos. And Alex worked really late tonight. And then he went out to dinner with his girlfriend. And yeah, it was a good day. Melissa and I talked for a long time on the phone tonight. We're super excited about the trip. We were all like making plans and all that kind of stuff. And then she ordered these like jumbo chapsticks from Amazon, and she was telling me that she was like, you have got to order these jumbo chapsticks, and you have to do a review of them for your channel. And then she sent me a video that she did of herself like on her phone, like reviewing these chapsticks. It was really cute. So, I'm going to probably order those. What else did I do? Oh, I talked to my sponsor for a long time today on the phone. We talked forever. It was a good conversation. You know, it's interesting when, like, you're in recovery or you talk to other people that are in recovery, and it's like you talk about, like, real life stuff, but you talk about it through the language of recovery, if that makes sense. So, you know, whenever you're talking about something, you're talking about, I'm trying to think of something she and I were talking about today that I can talk about on here. That's not, oh, well, we were talking about, like, okay, so she went out of town for this, like this recovery steak convention thing, and it was over St. Patrick's Day weekend, and she was talking about how much fun she had, and that she like met a bunch of people there, and they all went like out dancing and stuff on St. Patrick's Day, or like Saturday night, not Sunday, but like the Saturday night going into St. Patrick's Day, and that some of the people were like, do you not have a problem, like, going into bars and stuff like that? And we were talking about the idea of being spiritually fit. So there's this whole idea that if you're spiritually fit and you're in a good place, then you shouldn't have a problem being in places where there are alcohol. But, I mean, at the point where we're at in our sobriety, too, like, if I have a problem being in a place where there's alcohol, then I probably need to check my sobriety. You know, like, what am I not doing? And so we were talking about, like, you know, going out and what that experience is like, and And I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I don't really have a problem at all. It's like, I need to kind of check like where I'm at, because like if I'm not in a great space and I go out, it's never about like, oh my God, like I'm gonna want to drink. It's more like if I'm out and I'm like if there are like St. Patrick's Day would be a tough day for me depending on where I go, because like if I'm not in a great space in my head and there are like tons of people that are just wasted drunk around me, I don't love that. Like it gets on my nerves really quickly. And so like then I just don't want to be there. I just want to go home. And she was like, yeah, she's like, that doesn't really ever really bother me too much. And I'm like, yeah, but like you didn't, because I was talking to her about like when I used to go out a lot with Alex. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't know that I could have done it like, you know, as much as you did and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't do that anymore. But he doesn't do that anymore, you know. But we're gonna go out in Miami, I think. We were making some plans about that tonight. Alex was calling a friend of ours that does a lot of business in Miami, trying to get us on some club lists. Because Michelle, who's Michelle? I have no idea. Michelle, I don't think, do I even know Michelle? Michelle, my belle. Melissa and I have too many Ms in my life. Melissa, Mel. They're like right underneath each other in my text too. Hi Mel, how are you? Oh, I was texting Mel today too, because I got home and I was listening to this book. I'm so ready to be so done with this book. What I was gonna say first though is that like Melissa and Jason haven't really gone out to clubs in Miami. Melissa's never been there before. Jason's been there, but he had to go for like a work thing, and I don't think he went out while he was there. So that would be fun, because it is a different club feel down there. It really is. And I don't know. It's gonna be fun. We were talking about we're gonna get treats for the hotel rooms, and no, we're not staying in the same hotel room. We're two adult couples. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you do that, but we're not. So, but we're talking about how we're like gonna get treats and then like put our PJs on and watch movies and stuff like that late at night. We're so excited. She's like, oh my God, what magazines are you gonna get? I go, I don't know. She goes, oh my God, we have to get the same magazines so that we can read them on the plane. I was like, okay. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, that book. My God. Daughter of a Serial Killer. She should have called it I Love My Daddy So Much and My Cheesy Childhood. Okay, it's really like not bad. Like on a good day, like if I was in the mood to read something, it's just kind of very Anna Green Gables-ish. If I was in the mood to like, well, first of all, I'm in the mood to read a true crime thing, okay? This wasn't what I signed up for. I just didn't think it would be like this. I thought it would be a lot more about like her history of like going through all this and what it is. And I'm like, it's so cheesy. And I was texting Mel some of the stuff like, okay, first of all, they go in this trip to the Grand Canyon, okay? And I felt like, I was stuck in the Grand Canyon with her and her dad and her brother and her cousin. Like, I truly did. And it's like, they go on this like 6-day hiking trip, 30 miles through the Grand Canyon, right? Fine. It's a very nice memory that she has. It's a long memory in the book. Like, I mean, there is so much time devoted to this Grand Canyon trip, and I'm not really sure, like, why she focuses so much time on it, unless maybe it's like, I don't know, a lot of people have said more comes out at the end of the book and it explains kind of what it's about. She's very sweet. You can tell she's very, very sweet. But like, I don't know if she's trying to prove to herself like how much she loves her dad no matter what he did, because it's just like all of these glowing memories of her dad and how great he was, thrown in with how he was like the angriest SOB in the entire world at times. Like, and that they just had no idea that, you know, that anger drove him to kill. Well, there's a little bit difference between anger and ritualistic killing. I mean, let's just be for real. That's a huge stretch. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like he was murdering people because he had a little bit of an anger problem. I mean, it goes a lot deeper than that. And so, like, there's these parts where I'm just like, oh my God, like at the end of finally they get out of the Grand Canyon. I'm like, I was so happy. Well, this one part, she's talking about, like, okay, so at the beginning of this trek, which they're like going miles, to the point where her dad is like, at one point, like, he just sits down on a rock and she looks at him and he goes, because the cousin goes ahead and he goes, just leave me here to die. I can't go on one more moment, right? Okay, now think about this. Her brother at the time is like 18 and he gets sick before they ever even go on this like trek hike thing. And so they leave him in the hotel room and they tell him to come down on his own and hike the Grand Canyon on his own to meet them there, right? So at some spot, well, the night before they meet up with him, she looks up and she sees like way up, right? And she sees somebody like shining a flashlight and she's like convinced it's him. And her dad's like, no, we're not waiting. It's not him. It's not him. When they even told him to come and meet him there, right? Like, but she has no problem like making excuses for her dad. Okay, it's surreal to me. So then they meet up with her brother the next day, who has no sleeping bag. He's thrown everything out of his pack because his pack is so heavy. He has no clean drinking water because he got contaminated water, right? And he's like about to die. And she's like, so they sit down and they get him some clean drinking water. And she goes, oh, and boy, then Dad and I filled him in on our 4 days of insanity in hell in the canyon. I thought, my God, girl, how self-centered are you? This poor boy, this brother of yours, just trekked through the Grand Canyon by himself. My God, and you think he wants to hear about how bad your 4 days were? Give me a break. My God. If I was puking my guts out in the Grand Canyon, it's just kind of dumb. And I'm getting, like, to the point where I almost can't even listen to it anymore, except it's the book club book. The next book better be good. So anyway, and then they get back to town and she's like, she calls her mom on the phone to tell her mom like what their vacation was like. And then they go eat and she's like, I had a heaping spoonful of da-da-da-da-da. And boy, oh boy, was it good. And Dad threw down the credit card and didn't even look at the bill before signing it. We had such a great trip. It's just so corny. It's just so corny. And then she's talking about this one point about where, like, she's on campus and she goes to KSU and it's where she meets her husband. And she's talking about that she meets these guys, basically they friend zone her, right? But because she's a Christian and she's involved in this Christian crusade and all this kind of stuff, I guess they don't call it friend zoning it if you're in the Christian crusade, which I'm not, so I don't know. But apparently, because she goes, there were lots of guys that I really liked and wanted to be with, but they would tell me they didn't feel anything more for me than that I was just a good Christian sister. I was like, what? Okay. You want to talk about being turned down. So anyway, so then she meets her boyfriend / soon-to-be husband in the book. Yeah. And then it goes in and it talks about all this kind of stuff. It's just like, Mel had told me it goes back and forth between like now and then. Mel, I love you, but you're a liar straight from the pit of hell. I think she said that just to get me to keep on reading it. Mel kind of liked the book. She said it's really not that bad. I mean, on a good day, I think it would, like, you know, there's some parts of it that are sweet. I will say this, okay? There are books that I have read and listened to that I literally... Okay, I don't know when it stopped, but I think it just stopped. But I was talking about that book. But I think it just stopped because I, like, looked over and it was... But anyway, you know, they're, like, on a... I was saying that they're on, like, on a good day, like, it's kind of enjoyable to listen to. I mean, the stories aren't horrible. It's just very Little House on the Prairie-ish. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of depth to it, and the writing is not the greatest in the entire world. But they're very sweet memories. I mean, it's not a whole lot different than something I would talk about it as, you know, my childhood of vlogging, if that makes sense. Like, or my childhood of vlogging. There's not a huge difference between what she talks about and, like, you know, things that I talk about on here as far as, like, my childhood and things like that. I don't think she gives as much description, and I don't think it's as relatable, but there's parts that are. It's kind of like she's really wanting to prove, and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker the more you go in the book, the religiosity. She's really wanting to prove, like, how she came to find her faith in God, and that, like, her faith was waning, and then she, like, kind of, like, over time became converted to believing. Even though she grew up in a church, she never had any internalization of spirituality, is basically what she's talking about. But she just doesn't say it in a way that makes any sense. I mean, it's very much like, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. It's so like that. And there are parts where it's just like, okay, like, and I believe in this kind of stuff. I mean, these are God moment kind of things, right? It's just that it's written so cheesy. There's this part where she's like, they're in the Grand Canyon, and she's really, really tired, and she doesn't want to go on yet. And her cousin's gone on ahead with some people that they meet. And so she says to her dad, like, can we stay here? And he's like, yeah. So they, like, sit underneath rocks, and she breaks out her book, which I think she's reading, like, a true crime book anyway, I thought that was interesting. Where she said full of crime, I think is what she says, or something like that. But anyway, some red and black book that's full of crime. And so they're sitting there, and she, like, breaks out these treats, and she falls asleep, and some raven comes and takes all of her food. I mean, literally every little detail of her life is in this book. And then she chases this raven, or whatever it is, over the gorge, and then she comes back, and anyway. But they're getting ready to go, and then she says to her dad, like, can we stay just a little bit longer? Like, I still don't feel rested yet. Why don't we stay until the sun starts going down a little bit? It won't be so hot for us to go on. And he's kind of resistant to her, and then he's like, okay, we can stay a little bit longer. And that's when they hear her brother shouting for help. And she's like, was that you, God? Were you in that? Were you in that moment that you had not forsaken me? I mean, it gets a little kind of like a little preachy in some parts. And I'm just like, I don't know. The way that it's said, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I would have not finished this book. Like, it's that kind of stuff that I would have been like, I can't get through. It doesn't bother me. And in fact, her spiritual journey is probably more what's intriguing to me than anything else. I just think it's interesting the way that she talks about it, you know, like, I'm like in my head, I'm like, do I want to go into this discussion? You know, okay, so it's kind of like this. Like, have you ever had somebody that's like super religious? And I don't have any issues with people that are. I think what works for you is great, okay? And I consider myself a person of strong faith. I find myself a very spiritual person. But when somebody that's really religious, and I mean like very, very involved in doctrine, they come and they speak to you, right? And they're whatever they're trying to talk to you about. But they speak in this very biblical language that is almost kind of off-putting. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I don't know, like there's a lot of that in the book that as a reader and somebody that has been on my own spiritual quest my entire life makes me almost question her authenticity of her belief system. Like, it's like, do you hide behind this or do you really believe it? And I think that's what I have a hard time with reading it. Like, I feel like when I meet people who are truly, truly spiritual, like, you know, okay, this is what I believe, okay? And this is kind of a recovery statement, but that you can be spiritual without being religious, okay? But can you necessarily be religious without being spiritual? Like, religion isn't required for spirituality, okay? But, like, is spirituality required for religious belief? I mean, you would think so, right? People that I know, even people that, like, identify themselves as devout Christians, and I have a lot of friends in my life that do, you can kind of see, like, when it's true for them, this just, like, the Spirit, like, fill them up, like, when they talk about it, you know? And it's not like they hide behind this language. And whenever I kind of, like, hear that, like, well, the church says this, or, you know, when there's, like, this hiding behind a language instead of this personal storytelling, I'm always kind of a little, it's, like, off-putting to me. I'm like, well, I don't know that I really believe that you believe this, or that you're just using, you know, I don't know, like, how to explain it any better than that. But for me, sometimes, I don't know what to do with that. You know, like, and I'm not anybody that would ever, you know, not talk to somebody about it. I, in fact, enjoy having conversations about spiritual beliefs and whatever. And I've learned a lot about religious beliefs over the years, and a lot of them I align with my belief system. But I think had I known that the book would be laden so much with that, I think I would have picked a different book for the group, because I do think that there's got to be somebody that's reading the book out there that is like, I can't get through this because of the language. There has to be. That's just like, I can't. Because I think for some people it'd be a lot. It's like, I know this will surprise people, but I read the Left Behind series years and years and years ago. With each book, like, it was really, really, really a good series. Like, I remember when I read the first one, and I was just like, so if you don't know what the Left Behind series are, the Left Behind series are, I can't even remember what those guys' names are now. It's written by two people. And, it's literally about, like, the apocalypse just occurs. Like, people are, like, on planes, and planes start going down, okay? Because the apocalypse occurs and people just vanish. Like, true believers, like, vanish, right? And, it's so hot in here. And so, if you are if you're whatever, like, well, if you're a religious person and you enjoy reading that kind of stuff, or if you're not and you can read through it and it's not a problem for you, like it is for me, like it isn't for me, you would probably really enjoy the Left Behind series. Again, I would say not the greatest writing in the entire world, but they're okay. I think his name is Jenkins and something else, I can't remember. But so the apocalypse occurs, and if I remember correctly, I mean, it has been a long time since I read those books. I read them when they first came out. Kirk Cameron ended up making a movie about it. I never saw it, but about the first one, but or maybe a lot of them, I don't know, but I just saw that he made a movie about the first one. I think it went, like, straight to VCR or whatever back in the day. But it's about all of these people that are basically, like, trying to rebuild their lives and find their way through the apocalypse. And, like, the beginning is, like, this dad is, like, a pilot, if I remember correctly, and he's trying to make it home to his, like, daughter in the suburbs of Chicago, and I think the mom was, like, taken, like, she vanished in the apocalypse. And so it's, like, him having to get through, like, this huge traffic jam. It's very much like an adventure story, but it's told all through, like, biblical references. Well, it's very interesting, especially, you know, when it applies Revelations and talks a lot about, you know, revelations from the Bible, and really, like, a lot, word for word. I mean, there's scripture in the book, and having grown up reading a lot of that or hearing about that, you know, in church, like, that was interesting to me. The problem with those books was that the further I got in the series, like, at first, it would be like, it was like 20, and I don't know if they did this deliberately or not, but the first book was like 20% like scripture, and there's actually a character in the book, and he's from, like, another country, and, like, it's like there's a lot of scripture in the book coming from him, because he's, like, a religious figure in the book. Like, I don't want to tell you anything if you haven't read the book, but you choose to read it at some time. But anyway, but, like, literally by, like, the fourth or fifth book, like, there are parts of him in there, because it goes from person to person, that are, like, pages and pages and pages. I mean, literally just pages of religious doctrine that I was just skipping. Like, I just was like, I can't even read. It's just, it had absolutely no application to what the story of the book, and it just was like, it was too much. to the point where it was like, okay, what am I reading now? Like, I don't get that. And like I was talking about the other night, like with A Purpose-Driven Life, like I loved that book, you know, but like I kind of had to read between the lines sometimes with the language, because sometimes the language was off-putting for that to me too. But I also don't want to miss the lesson, you know? I don't know, it's been a struggle, like, you know, a lot of my life, and it's interesting because, like I said the other night, like I've never had any like negative experiences with my own religious beliefs or going to church or anything. Like I've never had a problem with that. I mean, most 12-step meetings are in churches. You guys probably know that, or I don't know if you don't know that. It's the truth. Like my meeting that we go to on Tuesday nights is at a church, and it's in a church like auditorium or gym or whatever it is, and I don't have any issues with church. I guess what I have an issue with is like this phony mentality of people hiding behind this religious belief that maybe they don't even really believe in or have even questioned. And I don't know why. It doesn't affect me on any level whatsoever unless it's like some condemning religion, and then I absolutely pay that no mind. But anyway, God, I got that long discussion about coming out of that book. See, that book has got me riveted. I need to get that book done. I like need to finish that book. And then I want to finish On the Come Up before I go on vacation. And then I want to start something else like right when I leave vacation. So is itching me right here tonight. I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow morning. I'm excited about it. And then I have a Spridey thing early in the evening. And then I'll make videos throughout the day. So yeah. Now I'm kind of like ready to listen to the book, even though it drives me crazy. It's kind of like, it is one of those books though that I'll tell you, like, you kind of want to like find out what's going on next, because you don't really have any clue where she's going to go in the book whatsoever, you know? It's kind of interesting. There was something else I was going to say. What was I going to say? I don't even know. Do you want to guess what I had for dinner tonight? Hummus. It was so good. I had hummus and some cheese. I feel like if you watch that Vanderpump Rules, do you feel like they talk so much about drinking on that show? Like, I'm like, it's interesting to me, like, watching it, and maybe it, you know, as a person in recovery, it's not a show for me to watch because I'm too critical, or I watch it with too much of a critical eye. But I was watching it tonight, and it was like, Stassi was like having this like girls party where she was having like the girls get together, and then, or she was going to some party, and she was like taking this huge bottle of liquor with her, and she was like, well, I mean, if it gets out of control, at least I'll have something to drink. And they were talking about drinking, and then James is always in trouble on the show for drinking and saying something that he shouldn't. And then Brittany has like this stomach problem, but she's going to Mexico, and so she's like talking to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, you can't be drinking, and she's like, I can't be drinking. Like, they make it like a part of the show. Like, they even show her in the diary room. She's like, I mean, I'm an adult, like, I want to drink if I'm on vacation in Mexico, which, don't get me wrong, I totally understand, but it's like, it's not like these people don't ever drink any other time, and like, that's their only time that they drink. Like, they drink a lot on the show. If you've watched the show, they drink a lot. In fact, every time they show them, like, in the little diary thing, they have like a cocktail that they're sitting there. I mean, that's kind of like their thing that they do for the diary room. It's just interesting to me. And like, every major fight that ever occurs on the show is because of drinking. And then Lisa's like not inviting certain people because they can't handle their drinking, and then it gets out of control. And I don't know. The show's just crazy for me. And yet I sit there and I watch it with Alex sometimes. There was a lot of screaming and yelling in that too, though. Like, I just, you know, anymore, it's like, I just can't with that stuff. Like, it was like too much for me. I told myself I'm gonna go out in the front porch and call Melissa, because I just needed to get away from it for a moment. And he was laughing. And but like, if you've watched it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Lala basically fights with everybody in this week's episode, like everybody, or maybe he was catching up and it was last week's episode, I don't know when, but she basically is fighting with everybody. And I don't watch it enough to really understand what's going on, so I'm asking him questions, and then he has to pause it, and then he doesn't love it. And so her dad passed away, and so she's going through a really hard time, I guess, and she's talking, but like, her point of reference for everything is, my dad passed away, so, and she's like screaming and yelling at people, and it's like a lot, it's like caustic. Like, she was up in this one girl's face, James's girlfriend, and like pointing at her, and the girl was like being very still, and she looked at her and she goes, you're almost gonna like poke my eye with your fingernail. And she's like, listen, and she's like doing all this in her face and stuff. And Alex goes, what would you do if somebody was like that? I said, I've had people like that in my face. I just walk away. I said, I don't deal well with that. Like, I don't deal well with that. That's where I have to be very, very careful. And, you know, I can be very reactionary in moments like that. And, you know, it's important for me to be responsive, and I'm working on that, and not reactionary. Because whenever I'm reactionary, I just don't like what comes out. I just don't, you know? And that's why in recovery we say restraint of pen and tongue. You know, that before you say something or you write something down, really think about it. I have to say, there have been moments in my life, you know, not even in the last couple years, which I'm not a perfect person, where I have not done that, and I'm not proud of it, you know? But like I say, you know, I think that we work on those things. But she doesn't have any awareness whatsoever on the show. Listen to me, like, picking apart this character on a reality show. They are kind of like characters, though, aren't they? They feel very, it just seems very scripted to me at times. It feels weird that we're going to be gone so long on vacation. I'm excited about it, though. I've got so much to do before I leave. I can't wait to have my feet in the sand again. I've bought so much crap for going on vacation. I think, like, I'm gonna do a haul. And then I might do, like, a packing video. What do you think about that? Where am I at on time? Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. I always, like, get so nervous. I have, like, all this stuff to do. Like, I've been, like, picking up PP's medicine, and so I had to take the medicine. That was one of the things I had to do today. So I had to take the medicine in, right? Because the vet medin, it comes like 50 pills, but he takes 2 a day, and he, like, needs it now. And so we need a refill until we leave on vacation, but then I also want to make sure that there's enough, you know, while we're on vacation, and then in case something would happen and we couldn't come back right away, that they're like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I had to, like, get 2 refills of the prescription. I had to go in and talk to the pharmacist about it, and it's $99 for just 2 of his medications, you guys. Can you believe that? Now, the rest of his medications are not that expensive. They're like $15 or 5. Like, one of them's 5 and the other one's like 15. But that vet medicine is like super expensive. But if it's helping his little life. What were we watching? Alex was like, that dog is so cute. And I was like, somebody said something about their dog being. What were we watching? Oh, he was watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Denise Richards. Do you guys remember Denise Richards from back in the day? She's very sweet on the show, or she seems to be from the 10 minutes that I watched it. She has a little dog that's 22 years old, you guys. Can you even imagine? The camera fell. I was hoping to make it the whole night without the camera falling. But yeah, I wish Pee-Pee would live to be 22 years old. I wish all of our dogs would live to be 30 or 40. If our dogs lived to be 40, they'd outlive me, and then I wouldn't even have to be sad about it. You think about, like, how pets change our lives, you know, and like tonight I was like sitting there and like Pee-Pee was sitting on Alex's lap, and he sits up on Alex's lap, but he falls asleep. It's so cute. And just love my dog so much. It rained a lot today too. It's like kind of misting out right now. I'm ready to have some nice warm weather. Stormy weather. Not stormy weather. I'm ready to have some nice warm weather. I'm excited. I'm like trying to find the perfect book. I need the perfect audiobook, and I need the perfect book to take on vacation. And I don't know what it's going to be yet. I actually put up a booktube video about that tonight. I should go in here and see if anybody, I should pull into the gas station and see if anybody, what they recommended. But I do think that the audiobook that I'm going to take is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, because so many people have told me to read that, and I keep just seeing it pop up everywhere. So I think I'm going to get that to listen to while I'm on vacation. And then I'm really thinking about taking a Leah Moriarty book. I have actually 2 audiobooks. I have so many audiobooks downloaded, but I want to take a physical book to read by the pool or on the beach, you know, especially while we're in Mexico. In Miami, I know I'm not going to read that much. So I don't think I need to take 2 books. But this is what happened was last time that we went to on vacation, I only took 1 book, and then I finished it and didn't have anything else to read by the pool, and I was upset. So I don't want to do that again. But I also don't want to lug around 2 books that are heavy, you know what I mean? If I don't end up reading 2 books. So I don't know. I wanted to take a Leah Moriarty book, but I don't know which one I'm going to take. Tanya, like, she'll love one, but not the other. And then I love Big Little Lies. So I was going to take The Perfect Husband, but I've already read like 100 pages of it. So I don't know that I'm going to take that. And Truly Madly Guilty, I don't really know. Look if it gets good ratings or not. I haven't looked at it at all. I think I own that one. I'm not sure. So I might take that. That might be my paperback that I take. We'll see. You guys gave me a lot of recommendations too. There was one recommendation that I really wanted to look into. There's also this, like, I've been watching a lot of booktubers, and they've been talking about this one author. I can't think of what her name is now. She's a young adult author. But I wanted to check into her work because, I mean, so many people are talking about how great she is. I was like, okay, I'm going to read something by her. I just got really thirsty for an iced tea, isn't it? I looked over and my camera was completely out of focus. So, anyway, I was saying that an iced tea sounds really good. But, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about. So, maybe that's a sign. I mean, I'm sure I could find something else to talk about. Did you guys see the comment from Rich Lux where he said he requested a 3-hour vlog? When Rich and I talk, he's always like, he watches the vlogs, you guys, which cracks me up. He's like, yeah, I always put him on in the background when I'm like doing other stuff. He's like, I need you to do a 3-hour vlog. I was like, Rich? He's like, no, like seriously, I want you to do like a 3-hour vlog. So some night for Rich, I will do a 3-hour vlog. But anyway, I could talk for 3 hours probably right now, but I would like to listen to a little bit more of my audiobook so that I inch closer to the end. The end is near. That's what I just keep on telling myself. Do you know what's going to be so funny? Is that this is what will happen. This happens to me a lot. Is that like I read a book, like when I was reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like I did not love it, like the first, like, I don't know, however long, but like I got to a point where I really kind of enjoyed it. And you know, I fight with myself enough in my head about a book, and then like I'll look back on it and I'll go, well, that was kind of a sweet book. Like I didn't mind that, or like the ending makes sense, and so it like brings the whole book together, you know. So it'll be interesting because like by the end of Daughter of a Serial Killer, I'll probably be like, oh my god, I really liked this book. It was great. After I complained about it day in and day out to everybody in my life about how I couldn't wait for this book to be over. So anyway, I'm going to get off here now and listen to a little bit of my audiobook before I go back to bed. And let's see. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, unless you have other plans. But don't have other plans. Have an amazing day. It's not a dress rehearsal, you know. You will only have one tomorrow in your entire life. So enjoy it, or one today if you're watching this. Whatever that date might be. And if nobody else has told you this, I love you. And tell somebody else. Because it's important to pass love on, don't you think? Like, I think it's a free energy that we can pass on to people. And it's a powerful thing. You know, it's interesting. Since I've started saying it on here, how many people have said to me, thank you for saying that, because I don't hear that from anybody else. And that makes me sad. I think everybody deserves to be loved and to hear that they're loved. So if you haven't heard it from anybody else, I love you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I was going to say it again. I love you, and I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Bye.